What's up, everyone? Welcome to Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. Join Joe, Cicero, Justin, and myself, Mike, along with some special guests as we debate all things video games. If you would like to support us, please share, subscribe, and leave a review. Now, enjoy the show.
What is going on, guys? I am stoked to be back because it's been a minute. I've been out for a little while. Been a lot of crazy things happening, but I am excited to be back for the weekly video game debate show podcast. It is Test Your Might. I'm here with Cicero. Cicero, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Say hi to your mother for me.
Hi, Mom.
I'm doing great. Doing great.
And of course,
hope you are too.
I'm doing very well. Listeners, how are you doing? Let us know on socials. Justin,
That's right.
you're here too, man. How you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm glad to see the crew back. We're gonna have a great episode for everyone listening, and
Or watching.
it's gonna be or watching, and there's gonna be a lot of heat this episode because
don't
Cicero's coming back into the ring. Swinging.
Yeah, don't make any promises, man.
You know,
Ooh, all right.
I'm not saying I'm gonna win.
We're starting
Well,
early.
you're not gonna bring the heat.
Yeah. There's so much heat. My lips were chapped. I was applying lip balm. I am not going to name a brand because they are not paying me to name them.
yet.
But if they would like me to, I could for a small fee.
There we go. That's exactly how it
Same
should be.
here. You know, I will name energy drinks for sponsorships.
Yeah.
I'm drinking water. Water can't sponsor me.
Okay.
But it keeps me alive, so water shouting out anyway.
Well, you can
It
get water
could.
sponsors.
Oh,
It could-
yeah,
it could.
true.
The Nestle Corporation owns a lot of water.
They do. Their water is not good. It's not my favorite.
Well, it
anyways.
depends on where you are. It depends on where you are because in the Northeast, they own a company called Poland Spring.
Oh,
And Poland Spring water is delicious.
I drink a lot of very bougie water.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I would go with Fiji or something, Voss or something like that.
Oh, look at that.
so if they want a sponsor, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
If you,
Where can they find us?
I was
You know, let
saying,
them know.
if you are looking for us, go ahead and find us at the 90s First on Twitter,
Oh.
on Patreon.
yeah.
Speaking of support.
Oh, yes.
And everywhere else except for YouTube. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can have that 90s First at YouTube as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, or if you see us on YouTube, or if you even know us and are listening to us, go ahead and go to YouTube and subscribe so we can have that custom link. So as we are the 90s First everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, yada, etc.
Every YouTube story starts with one subscription.
There we go.
Yeah, click all those buttons, do all those things.
Yes.
And while you're doing it, go ahead and leave us a review because you're already doing one thing. Might as well do another thing. That's how life works. So leave us a review at Apple Podcasts, at Podchaser, Stitcher, YouTube. You can just leave us like right down there, right? You know, it's probably like right there, and then like turn the bell on too, because 2 clicks. How hard is that, right? We are going to have a very exciting show coming up. We were kind of hinting at it before the podcast, but there's a movie coming out. Cult classic, iconic, great, amazing, wonderful, and some might say dated, but those people are wrong. We have The Matrix coming back. So lucky for us, the first one debuted in 99, which makes it a 90s content material. And we're going to be watching the new Matrix movie and just giving it a fair shake in what we think about it. So feel free to join us in that episode as we discuss Keanu Reeves, not Will Smith, and the new Matrix film.
Yeah.
I got knowledge dropped on my head before this.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
It was great. Thank you, Cicero. Open my eyes, and you learned me.
Old man has stories.
I mean, I wouldn't call you old.
I did it for you.
Just working towards it. You're working towards it. One day you'll be old.
One day.
But that day is not today.
Why I oughta.
I mean, you're sounding older now, though.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Right. What's an answer? All right.
Might turn to dust after this episode.
We are looking for the Patreon funds So if you want to support us in what we're doing here, if you enjoy us, if you like the content, and you want to help us grow and become bigger and better, go ahead and look for us there. We have a bunch of extra content that Mike has provided and is as articles and other stuff and reviews and things like that on games and shows and other different things that you only find there. I'll let you know right now. It is free to view all that stuff, and you only get a support at whatever you want. So it's awesome.
Well, it is included in your support.
At any level. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Right. Yes.
Any
It is
level of
included
support.
with your support.
Nothing is tiered off. Yeah, that sounds right. Tiered off? It's a phrase now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
allow
canon.
it.
Yeah.
We have one other thing that we will be doing, and it's based on what we're going to talk about in the news. But we have the Mighties coming up. It will be our second annual Mighties award show for the 90s First.
Right.
We will have myself, Cicero, Justin. Will you be on there? I think you will.
Most likely.
Mike
Okay.
and Sean. So we're gonna have quite a few people in here.
All right.
It's really nice because we all have our own sort of stuff that we play in game, and it's going to be a very eclectic sort of group and gathering of people and games that I think will get awarded. I'm looking forward to it. I have made a few mock-up things for it for funs and laughs, and maybe I'll share those to social medias if I can get the go-ahead. Because we are a team here, it has to have general consensus, and it may not be the most, appropriate. But if
all
I
right.
can,
Here we go.
if I can share those things just for a laugh,
It's called the 90s First Plus.
yes,
Yeah. All right.
only 90s
90s
first.
first. 90s first to the max.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to move into the question of the week, which is favorite game by a specific developer / publisher.
Right.
And it's going to be Microsoft first party.
Uh-oh.
So, Cicero, come to you first. What is your favorite game by Microsoft?
Published by Microsoft. Published or developed?
Published
Either.
or developed. Exactly right. There's a slew of games you can choose from. A plethora.
There are a plethora of games I could choose from.
Possibly a multitude.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm gonna throw a little curveball, and I'm gonna pick a little game called Mass Effect.
Ooh, got left out of the last episode that I was on, but not this time. Great
Yeah,
choice.
Mass Effect.
All right. Okay. I mean, would you like to tell why, or is it the obvious reason that it's one of the best sci-fi?
I mean, yes, so the obvious reasons for picking Mass Effect in a best of list, I think, have been stated numerous times. If you're a person who has never played video games before or never heard of Mass Effect before, Mass Effect is one of the greatest games, objectively one of the greatest games ever created for video games. If you are hearing this and you've come to Mass Effect a little later in life, and you're like, hey, Cicero, what do you mean published by Microsoft? This game is owned by Bungie, and Bungie is owned by EA. Well, you are correct. Or not Bungie, BioWare. BioWare, and BioWare is owned by EA. And I would say you are correct. However, BioWare, at the time of Mass Effect, the original Mass Effect's publishing, was an in-house property of Microsoft. And Microsoft published the original Mass Effect game. That original Mass Effect was a console exclusive for a very, very long time. So that is my favorite Microsoft published video game, the one and only Mass Effect.
Dang, that was a sweet little deep dive. I just had another knowledge bomb dropped on my head. Justin, swinging over to you. What is your favorite Microsoft developed or produced game?
I'm going to go way back to when I was growing up, and I played a lot of RTS games on the PC.
Okay.
And a lot of people enjoyed the Age of Empire games, but a little known game that came out back in the day was Age of Mythology. And this was a take on Age of Empires, but instead you would choose a god of mythology, of myth, Zeus, all the different big Greek gods, and you would work kind of the same gameplay of RTS, but you'd have powers and mythological beasts to spawn in, unlike just fighters and, actual empires. So it was interesting, and it had a kind of like supernaturalist element to it. You'd work towards summoning a titan in the expansions. They reworked it, I think, in 2014, and now it's $30 on Steam. HD textures, it looks a lot better. It's a great game. Yeah, if you like RTS games, pick it up, try it out. It's dated, of course, even with the texture pack, but it's fun to play a classic RTS.
All right. Okay. So I wanted to say Full Tilt 3D Pinball Space Cadet, but it is not, in fact, a Microsoft thing. It was just on every PC back in the day, and I was hoping it is Maxis, and their parent company is EA, which was not Microsoft's. So I cannot say that, even though I just did, because it was my favorite game, and I just assumed that it was going to be a Microsoft game. It's not.
I was close to going Minesweeper, because that's up there.
Minesweeper is super fun, but I was full send. I was dedicated to 3D Pinball Space Cadet. So much fun. However, that is not my game because it is not Microsoft. So do I go the easy route? Do I go Halo? Halo Infinite? The newest game by Microsoft? I've been having a ton of fun with it lately. I don't think I can do that, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Minecraft.
That was my backup. I agree with you, Jelly. That is a good pick.
And it's not just for me, although I have enjoyed Minecraft, but my son loves Minecraft. And as a father, I have to, think of what my kids love and enjoy. And he has spent countless hours. We could probably count them. I'm sure there's a counter in the game, but countless hours playing Minecraft, building, creating, having fun, destroying, recreating all these worlds and stories. And he's created monsters. He's recreated scenes from Zelda and all sorts of other stuff in Minecraft. It is everything. Minecraft allows you to do whatever you want. I mean, you can create whatever you want. So that's what I'm going with. Not 3D space pinball, even though I wanted it. So, is what it is. Minecraft, solid second place. But that is our three. One more time, Cicero's yours was?
Mass Effect.
That's right, Justin.
Age of Mythology.
And not Space Cadet Pinball. Moving on.
So sad.
You know what I have been playing? It's not Space Cadet Pinball. It's not on the computer anymore. But I have been playing Halo Infinite multiplayer. Not the campaign yet. But I have really enjoyed it. Also been playing Apex. But I think I've probably split my time pretty evenly between the two of them, surprisingly.
Wow.
Maybe a little bit heavier towards Apex, but only slightly. I have really been enjoying Halo. It gets my blood boiling in a way that Apex doesn't. Like, I love playing Apex, and I care about when I play Apex. But Halo brings out the that inner child in me that was playing Halo all those years ago, 2 decades ago now, and screaming, expletives and obscenities at teammates and other people. It's I've reverted back to that, so I have to small doses at a time so I don't get too worked up. There was a funny moment where my wife overheard me saying certain expletives to the people that I was playing against, and I realized that maybe I need to back up a little bit and relax and take a break.
I know. I've noticed a few things playing with you.
Yes. But it's super fun. If you don't know Halo, jump in. It's free to play. Unless you have a PlayStation, then just grab an old Xbox because they're cheap and you can play it anyways. But super fun, super enjoyable. Justin, swinging over to you. What have you been playing?
Halo. As well. Great game. enjoying it. Haven't stepped very far into campaign yet. I know that dropped as well. Not sure if you guys have played through yet. I was very bent on not playing it, but with spoilers the way they are nowadays, I'm gonna have to play it. I just, I don't want to have to censor myself from all my social medias. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of guitar on Rocksmith with the PC.
Nice.
Custom music, I can pretty much play any song I want as long as it's online. And I dabbled back into Hellblade. I didn't finish it originally, and then they dropped the up-res like halfway through my playthrough, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to step away and I'll come back. And after the Game Awards, which we'll talk about soon.
Just a minute.
Foreshadowing.
Just a minute. I am ready, and I put on my Astro 850s, surround Atmos, Dolby Atmos, hearing voices out of every corner of these things. Phenomenal experience, and now it looks even better.
All right, Cicero, what have you been playing?
I mean, you guys keep talking about this Halo game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh shucks, man.
Yeah. No, man. I've been playing multiplayer Halo. I also haven't gone into the campaign yet. I'm waiting for extended period of time that I can kind of like just get lost into the game. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but the holidays are coming up, so maybe I'll have some time to actually do that. I've also been playing Madden, still in my Madden franchise. Won a second Super Bowl with the Jets.
Okay.
The
Jets, huh?
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Mo, who got beat yet again.
And shout out to the new West Side Story that just came out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Shout out to the Jets out here doing it. Yo, Mo, wake up. That's for Mo. So let's see what else we got. Halo, football. Also, I've been playing one of the best games I think of the year, and also confirmed during the Game Awards that we'll talk about in a second, and that is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Nice.
I've been playing a lot of that. I got into it late, thanks to the recommendation of friend of the show, Sharif Jackson. I started playing it, and boy, oh boy, was he right. This game is phenomenal. If you have a chance, it was on sale for $30. Mm-hmm. I think that sale is over. Maybe there'll be another sale. But man, give that game a chance. It is phenomenal. Okay. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. Actually, after the Game Awards, it's on my next to buy list. Literally, the next game I'm buying is going to be Guardians. Please
buy. Like, if you've enjoyed the Guardians in any of their permutations, you absolutely must play this game.
Okay.
Some pretty low praises coming out of you. Yeah. Just saying. Yeah. Just obviously, don't pick it up right now immediately.
Right. No.
So that's one. Actually, okay. Without further ado, we're talking about the Game Awards. Obviously, the Game Awards just happened. Kind of a big deal in the video game world. That's where that's where we're at. That's where you're at. If you're here listening to us, we like video games. We play video games. We do a lot of video game stuff here. Obviously, it's a video game centric podcast. The Video Game Awards just happened. As of this recording, 2 days ago?
3 days.
3 days ago.
Thursday. Yeah.
Days are hard for me. So yeah, as of this recording, 3 days ago, I'm going to ask more about Guardians, because while watching it, it won Best Narrative, and it was up against Deathloop,
Psychonauts 2,
Psychonauts 2, and then the one. I'm not
Ratchet and Clank.
No, the other one. The one that I thought was going to win was the one where she could sense their emotions. What was that one?
Oh, you're talking about Life is Strange?
Life is Strange.
Yeah. Okay, and that's
True Colors.
That's what I thought would be the narrative winner, because it was foreshadowed as being like this super amazing narrative-driven story.
And
I actually had a buddy that was 100% like, this is going to win because he's played through it. And
that's where I was at.
It's super good.
And it didn't win. So Guardians won. And that I did not expect. That floored me a bit because I haven't played it. Obviously, I don't know. But I just assumed it was going to be another superhero style game. But it sounds like it's not. Like what sets it apart makes it this narrative, like a narrative driven game.
So it is, right? It is a superhero centric game, right? But these guys aren't. So they're not your typical superheroes, right?
No.
You know, part of the charm of Guardians is that because the setting is space, even the members of the team that are supernatural in their way don't seem otherworldly because they're not on a world.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So even though they're powered beings, they still seem like grounded people that you can interact with and that have hopes and dreams and disappointments and triumphs just like everyone else does. And the game does a great job of exploring those things, as well as telling a really compelling story. And it's not just the Guardians get into misadventures and you figure it out. Like, that's part of it, right? Like, that's kind of how it starts. It kind of starts that way, and that's also part of the Guardians' charm. But the story starts to get deeper. Like, you get into a point where you realize a thing. You realize that a thing has happened, and you can decide whether or not to face the thing that's happened or play coy and kind of pretend like if I ignore it long enough, it'll kind of go away. And like, it doesn't, so it plays out like a Telltale game in that way, where you have these different narrative choices and they may reflect some of the dialogue that you get between the different characters, because you basically play as Star-Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's the only Star-Lord.
So you play as Star-Lord throughout the entire game, but it seems like that's a handicap, but it's really not. It's really not.
He's got enough stuff to take it.
Right. Yeah. Like, you wind up dealing with everybody else, and not just through Star-Lord's point of view. You actually get their perspective about different things, and Star-Lord just happens to be the conduit to get to all of those stories.
Okay.
And I think that if they had decided instead to give you control over the different characters at different points, it would have locked it down a little. It would have locked it down even more, right? Because then it would have been like, this is the Gamora chapter, and this is the Rocket chapter, and this is the Groot chapter. And you don't get that. Instead, you get like real in-depth, like actually poignant backstory for all of the characters, as well as all of the characters, including Peter Quill, including Star-Lord, and the narrative overall has a lot of weight to it.
Okay.
As well. Like, so you're not just trying to escape from the galactic cops. You're and saving the galaxy, which they're always doing, which all games are right? Like,
but
at
they
some
didn't
level,
make it a trope,
right?
Like they actually focused on the story instead of going, okay, here you can play this person, play that person, do this, do that.
There is the big bad, or like the existential threat.
Okay,
but then there's also this narrative inside of that existential threat that absolutely motivates the characters to continue on,
like veins running through the entire story.
And it's done really well. So
awesome.
So it's like a Telltale game where you have these narrative choices, but they don't have that same
effect.
Like, they don't have the same weight at the end of the story in the same way that Telltale games are, where like they're like these.
You can end up on any branch, pretty much.
Divergent branches. Yeah. So it's, like the narrative is still kind of linear, but there are little pieces of like shortcuts or whatever, or little bits of information that you can glean just by taking different narrative choices.
Okay.
a lot more in depth than I initially pictured the game and thought the game was going to be. Right. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah,
more
when they won, like I said, I threw it up on my list of next to buy because Cicero has talked it up as well in the past, and I was like already thinking about getting it, and I know Mike wants to play it as well.
All right.
I can't wait.
Yeah. You know what's funny is it was one of the games earlier in the year, and I think, we talked about it in October, like what we thought the biggest games of October would be, and that was the game that I had predicted, and still didn't buy it, right?
Yeah.
But like what I was really appreciating was that I felt like it was another extension of the Guardians, right? Like I love both of the movies, the cartoon that they had. I really enjoyed that. Like I enjoyed the humor that was going on with them. It made me feel good, and all of the things that I had seen so far from Eidos about this game evoked those same types of feelings to me, and I wish I had purchased it and started playing it earlier.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite reveal from the Game Awards? And Justin, will go to you, and then and we'll just kind of rock it through us. So Justin, start.
Well, you know what mine's going to be. Something that I've been waiting a long time for.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2, baby.
Oh, I should know that.
Yeah, we got a little Alan Wake teaser for the next installment, and it's been almost 2 decades. It feels like.
Right.
It's going to be a survival horror game, not just a narrative, but also scary elements that look fantastic right now. And I know Jelly. Yeah, I know Jelly.
I mean, it
Jelly's
looked
not
great
going to play it.
when they
Cicero,
revealed it.
you're probably not going to play it, but Alan Wake was phenomenal, the original, and been waiting a long time.
Just hearing the guy talk about it, like
I screamed like a schoolgirl when they said that, and then I was ready, freaking out, waking up everybody in the house. You know how it is.
Yeah, hearing the dude talk about it and how he wanted to create like the scariest horror game that he possibly could, I was like, and I'm out immediately. But it looks
the only
great.
thing that could have topped it would have been a Silent Hill reveal, which we didn't get, but we did get a new IP coming from the studios. But I still think Alan Wake was the best for this one.
Okay. I am gonna go with the Star Wars Eclipse, even though we have no idea what it really is. Because I'm a Star Wars fanboy, and more Star Wars, especially hopefully a good Star Wars game. The last one was good. The last one that I played was
Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah,
I didn't play the space pilot one. What was that?
Squadron.
Thank you.
Rogue Squadron.
So Fallen Order, which was very good. I'm hoping that Eclipse will be along the same lines, and maybe a nice marriage between the two for, space combat would be fun, as well as if they give me more Fallen Order stuff would also be
the thing
fun.
With Eclipse, right, is it's made by Quantum Dream, right?
Yeah.
I know Cicero and I have both played Quantum Dream games in the past, and we've talked about Detroit Become Human a bunch. Having an effect on the world around you based on your choices and seeing it change comes straight out of KOTOR back in the day. And these studios, Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human, both of these games, fantastic story narrative games that you have choices that can change everything around you. So I feel like with that trailer, you don't know much, but coming from a studio developer like that, it's in good hands right now.
Right. You get a lot of grace. There's a lot of faith.
Yeah.
That the vision will be executed.
Maybe it's Fallen
And the
Order
visuals,
meets Fable, style.
Well, so I don't know if those visuals are real though, right? Because
they're probably cinematic.
That was pre-rendered.
But the amount of different cuts they showed to show different things that they're going to implicate or could be implicated into the game, the cuts, there was a lot of content. I thought we were watching clips from all the different movies. That's how much there was.
Yeah, there was a lot. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what it turns into or what it comes out to be the most, I think. So my hopes are high, which could lead to, them being
Great
dashed.
disappointment.
But yeah. But right now my hopes are high because it's only 3 days old, and I got giddy and was happy and was like, oh, Star Wars. Yeah. Okay. I'll do it.
Yep.
Whatever. Uh-huh.
I thought it was a KOTOR trailer. I was ready to get some more content from that, and surprisingly, another game. So now we got 2.
Yeah. Cicero, favorite reveal from the Game Awards.
My favorite reveal was Star. Oh no, you just talked about that. No, my favorite reveal was Star Trek Resurgence.
Okay.
All right,
Different
I'm gonna
star.
leave
Star
now.
Trek Resurgence. Yes, right. So, much to Duck's chagrin, I really enjoy both Star Trek and the Telltale style of narrative games. Like this episodic, potentially episodic, right? But narrative games, because they don't necessarily get my blood pumping, the blood pressure going. Although The Walking Dead definitely did tempt.
Mm-hmm.
They're great games. I think the marriage between something that is a thinking person's show like Star Trek, and
Shots
like
fired there.
having to make those types of narrative choices, such as the Telltale style of games made you do, I think is a marriage made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a why haven't they done this already type of thing. I am super, super looking forward to seeing what that could be, because I think this is the way to make Star Trek games work, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can do strategy games, like you can do 4X Star Trek games, and that's fine, but that hits a nerdy segment. If you try to do action Star Trek games, those aren't really true to what Star Trek is.
The newer ones.
But then like
I wouldn't know.
right.
It's the Kelvin time.
then-
I nobody knows.
But then I think this Telltale style with, where you're making narrative choices, where you're interacting with your crew, where you're interacting with different species, you're making decisions, and there are consequences or rewards based on those decisions that are set up and will allow you to either complete something or move on to a new episode, is perfect, I think, for both Star Trek and what we used to know as the Telltale game design. So I'm super, super excited to be playing that and looking forward to talking about it on a different podcast that I co-host.
Absolutely.
Talk about
Not on
Star
here.
Trek.
Now, I don't know. I'm gonna talk about something here. I don't know if you guys had the same problem. I know I watched it from front to beginning. Jelly, you said you watched a bit. Cicero, I'm guessing you watched some trailers as well.
Yeah.
For the whole thing. They started strong, really strong, and they showed. I know we didn't highlight this one, but Hellblade 2.
Yes.
Gameplay and in-game engine trailer, which looked stunning.
Unbelievable.
Stunning, like visually gratifying to the max. Like Forza Horizon 5 had a lot, and then this came out and you're looking at it and you're drooling.
Yeah, they
Right.
10
And
out of 10.
then they started the show shortly after the beginning of the show. They showed that trailer, that gameplay trailer, and every trailer after that didn't stand the test of that graphics.
No.
And you're looking at them and you're like, that doesn't look as good as what they started with. And the game that Cicero, I will not say the name, but the game that Cicero was talking about looked like poo-poo and compared.
Well,
And
don't compare it.
when it's that franchise, I will compare it. But I also was fair, and I compared every trailer after Hellblade to Hellblade, and
Right.
they just there were some very close ones. Like we got a date for Elden Ring, fantastic. We've been waiting a very long time, and they got second 2 years in a row for most anticipated title.
Right.
And we
yeah.
finally got a date for it, and that game's trailer looked phenomenal as well. And it was very close to it wasn't Hellblade, but it was very close visually. Even the Forbidden West Horizon Dawn trailer looked great, but I was comparing the hair between the two, and Hellblade's hair looked fantastic compared to that.
Horizon looked good though,
and it was tough. I thought they should have ended with something that looks that great, because it made everything else a little bit less exciting visually. Anyway, for me,
it was I don't know. Start out strong and then kind of taper out, because you know that not everyone's going to watch a 3-hour show. So if you start off strong with something big, you might grab their interest. And they'll go, oh, maybe there's something even better at the end, right? Oh, I'll sit and watch for that. Let's hang out and find out. And you know, they never quite hit that same caliber. But I think they did well throughout. I think there was a couple reveals. So like I said, I made it I think I made it just over 2 hours in before I had to turn it off. And nothing ever came, nothing was ever as good, but some of the stuff came close. The Horizon one was close. There's a few different style of games. I really like, it's Tachia, I think. And that's it's one that I'm not going to get the opportunity to play, sadly, because it's a Sony property. But it's essentially, they made a more in-depth version of Zelda that focuses on a young girl instead of, you know, whatever he is, a Hyrulean. But it's a game that I would love to play, because watching it, I'm like, oh man. And they're like, oh, this is like pre-render alpha version. Don't judge it based on this. And they say so on the thing. And you're like, oh wow, they're just not sure of it all. And they're like, coming holiday 2022. And it's like, oh, well, that's, you know, maybe a year away. So that's not a ton of time to get it into where, like, they can't add that much in that short of a time to make it look that much better, besides detailing those things. So based on that, like, I am super excited about the game that I will never get to play. Maybe one day I'll play it, but
I highlighted it back when E3 was out, and
same.
I do notice differences already. The character models looked like old-fashioned Wii Mii's, like from Nintendo Wii back on the E3 trailer, and they have changed it a bit for the newer one, and it looks a lot better, which was my only gripe, because transforming into different creatures in order to solve puzzles in a Breath of the Wild style level.
Oh,
what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
I believe it is Steam as well, though, isn't it? Or is it just PS4 or PS5?
It's PC as well.
It's Sony. Yeah, I didn't catch if it was Sony and PC or just, so if it is Steam, then I will play it.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Let's do just a round robin real quick. One last thing about the Game Awards that we want to talk about, and then we'll move into the Test Your Might segment. So Cicero, going back to you, one thing that you want to touch on that we haven't yet.
Let's see. What else did... Oh, you know what? I want to talk about Suicide Squad. Kills the Justice League.
Yeah, that one looked interesting.
Yeah, so like that looked cool. I feel like Rocksteady is going to use a lot of that Arkham Knight or what I guess what's the last one was Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yeah.
Yeah. Used a lot of that engine or refine that engine to kind of play this game and like I'm really interested to see what it's gonna be like. The Suicide Squad is super hot right now. They had a great movie that was in theaters and streaming. And kind of anti-heroes are kind of in vogue yet again.
Yep.
We go through these cycles. So it'll be cool to see what this game is all about, and it's in good hands. So I'm looking forward to seeing more.
All right. Justin.
Not the biggest announcement. Short little trailer. You guys won't play it again. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is getting a Friday the 13th style game.
Nice. Okay.
So survival horror, one person plays as Leatherface, and the other 4 or 5 run the heck away.
Right, okay.
And try to get out. And
multiplayer. Nice.
It's going to be scary.
It's similar to that other game that's out, right? The
Friday the 13th, the game.
Is that what it's called? Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
The one where
Friday the
you're
13th.
either a murderer or you're You're someone trying to escape
Well,
them.
that's Dead by Daylight. You might be thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Right.
Yeah. So is it similar to that style where there's
It is
one
similar,
murderer?
except it's more licensed in the particular field. So like Friday the 13th has Jason, and Jason-like characters as the other party members. So this will be.
So this will have Leatherface and.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That could be fun for some other people.
Not for you.
It would not be fun for me. The closest I would get to that would be the VR version of
Resident Evil 4?
No,
Among Us.
Thank you. Yeah, I was thinking the
Yeah.
the
No one asked for
murder
this.
game.
Yeah.
That would
Nobody
make
asked
me
for it.
jump so much.
But how
Yeah.
fun to be a little cartoon guy running around a spaceship and actually being able to do the jobs now instead of just, on a little screen doing them, which is cool. But like slap on your goggles and like now you're hanging out. You're just hanging out.
Yeah, I'm
And then
looking
just-
forward to checking that one out.
and then
I
getting
really am.
axe from
When you
behind
guys
a little
all
bit, but-
talk and have a conversation, it's going to be like everyone in one room just looking at each other and pointing fingers.
Right. Yep.
Like the Spider-Man meme.
Yep. It's gonna be amazing.
I think it'd be awesome. Yeah, I think how
That's gonna
cool
be
to
amazing.
take
Yes.
such a because it's the dinner party murder game. It's
Right.
One Night Werewolf. It's
Yeah.
Mafia. It's
right.
it has had so many different variations of the same exact game. And then to take it almost full circle, but in a digital age where we have a metaverse now to be able to slap on your goggles and hang out, have a true virtual hangout board game mafia session through Among Us. It just seems really interesting, really cool. And, that's where we're headed. I mean, we're jumping into, to real life Ready Player One stuff.
I know
it's
for a
gonna be
fact
weird.
Jelly will never play that game in VR.
I'd have
you
to
would
get a
never.
VR first.
You only see so far, and that's judged on the creator of the game. So it'll be dark, pitch black at a certain render distance, and then you will not turn around. You'll just stand in a corner because you don't want to turn around and get stabbed. And
No, I'd probably just hurt my neck, literally going like this the whole time.
and then just
Freaking out.
People are going to be trying to stalk you to kill you,
Yes.
and they will be trying to
That's
scare you because that's what the
amazing.
game is.
As
That's
long as it's a fun animation for when you die, like James Bondy from back in the a little James Bond
Oh,
style
okay.
murder where
Dun, dun.
blood just kind of drips down. I think I could handle that, but if it's like a really loud noise and like something that the jump scare, if they jump scare you, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those.
Right.
So we'll see, but I really enjoyed Among Us VR, and I think it'd be fun, especially where everything's headed now. And it's fun to full circle it, and Mafia, hanging out with your friends, just playing a game that's hopefully narrated really well, and that's what Mafia requires and is about, is a really good story-driven narrative where you y'all get to hang out and someone dies.
Clue style.
Yeah. All right. That's it for our Game Awards talk. If you want more, tune in for the Mighties, which is our version here at the 90s First version of the Video Game Awards. We'll be doing that in the next coming week, I think, but I'm not 100%. So stay tuned. We'll be on our
coming
socials,
soon.
and we'll keep you updated there. So check out Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else where socials are. I'm too old for them. But it is time now for Test Your Might, the namesake segment of the show. It started off a little strong, talking about bringing the heat. We had maybe Val Kilmer, maybe not. Who knows? Heat reference for all you older people out there. If we're ready, let us begin. We have
Begin.
Exactly.
Always
Matrix got an Unreal Engine 5 showcase game. So, based on that, what other non-video game franchise, ooh, tongue twister word, should get the treatment next? And two regulars on the show. Can't go to a guest first. Age Before Beauty. Cicero.
Okay. I will go first to choose that Justin gets to choose first.
There we go. I like it. All right. So, Justin, we're coming to you first. What non-video game franchise should get the Unreal Engine 5 treatment?
You ready, Cicero?
I am ready for this.
I got a trilogy of movies for you.
Oh, okay.
Same universe.
Yeah.
Not coinciding in chronological order.
Hmm.
Certain gentleman by the name of Neil Blomkamp came out with a trilogy of movies back in the day.
He did.
We got District 9, Elysium, and Chappie.
And Chappie, huh? You're still going to include Chappie in there.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Because I think if you were to take... Well, how about we get Cicero's answer? And then I'll come back.
There you go.
I like it.
I'll give you some... Since you were kind, I'll give you the same.
All right. So, all right. So, I wasn't sure if we were looking for current running series or if we were looking for recent running series. Since we've gone into the District 9 phenomenal film, by the way. If we're going back that far, then my choice stands as there was a little series that came out, I think it was in 2005 or 2006 on a network that was called Sci-Fi, or it was called Sci-Fi. Now it's called Sci-Fi.
Sci-Fi.
It is.
I remember this network because I used to watch Stargate.
This show was called Battlestar Galactica.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
Unreal 5 Engine Showcase.
Time to duke it out. Justin, swing it over to you. Porqué. Why? Give me more.
Why District 9, Chappie, and Elysium?
Yep.
So if you look at what they did here, I don't know if, Cicero, did you play the experience? Did you download it? Okay. Phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
Visually, it was gratifying.
Yes.
Oh, it's so beautiful to see these action sequences and all of the environment rendering properly and the reflections and the lighting. And you're able to toggle things on and off and look at the differences and see how much it is rendering. Unreal Engine 5 is the future here. Bottom line, let's take these filled environments and push it to the max, right? District 9, tons of these alien creatures walking around, action, explosions, cars, same kind of action films, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put this into the Unreal 5 engine and see what we can do. Instead of just rendering a city, let's render all of the beings inside that city to the fullest. Have all these creatures, these humans interacting, throwing each other down, eating cat food, whatever you need them to do. That's just District 9.
Right.
If we go into Chappie, we got the police force machines. Imagine that. Going in, fighting crime. Everyone, Jelly, I know you said you love Chappie, right?
I didn't think it was the worst.
You got Chappie. You wanted them as Pathfinder skin for a while now. I know Mike's the same.
I do want a Chappie Pathfinder skin.
Yeah,
it fits too well.
And me too. Yeah,
It does.
Imagine playing as Chappie on an armored force, police task force going in, solving crime, rendering all of the environments, all the details to the garbage on the ground, the cigarette butts on the ground of these cities, fighting crime. And then we got the future with Elysium. All these are technically future, but exosuit fighting, rendered, smaller environments like Cicero with Battlestar Galactica. You do have some larger fight scenes, but not as dense as my 3, honestly.
All right. And now Cicero to explain why he thinks you're wrong.
Okay. Well, so for those people that aren't familiar with Battlestar Galactica, it is a series where humans have left Earth after the robots that they have created, these have gained sentience and have rebelled against their human overlords and have essentially wiped out humanity. and there's a small colony of humans on ships that are being protected by essentially like an aircraft carrier in space that they call battle stars. This one is called the Galactica, and they are on their way to find the fabled 13th colony called Earth. And they are trying to find that place to resettle and rebuild humanity. But in the meantime, those AIs, the Cylons, they're trying to attack. And during certain times, those attacks work. They get to the flotilla, they'll do stuff. But, imagine our Unreal Engine 5 demo is our Battlestar Galactica crew out in their ships and their Vipers fighting the Cylons on a mission to destroy a base star, one of the big alien Cylon home ships that's controlling the Cylons in this sector. If it gets destroyed, then the Cylons are dead. So they're trying to make their way onto the ship. So they have all the fighters are fighting and the Viper fighters are fighting, but then they sneak a crew onto the base star. So you're getting all of the explosions outside in this giant war. Then you fly up onto the base star, you see all the lights, all that stuff is being rendered in real time for you as you're making your way to the base star. And then you get inside the base star and you're fighting all the Cylons. So you've got the toasters, you've got the Cylons that look like humans, the different models, and all of the lights and crazy things that are happening on the inside. You get all of those things, just like in that Matrix demo that you got, it was awesome. It was like going back to the arcade and playing like Revolution X or any of those other like light gun games. It was super cool. This could be another one of those events, just like that Matrix one, but now you're going through the base star and you've got to fight your way into it, do the thing, and then get out of there, a la the Death Star, a la one of the, the greatest scenes in movie history in the original Star Wars: A New Hope, where you that's right, where you Death Star it up. And like you could have all of those things in Unreal 5 and then make your way back to the Battlestar Galactica. So say we all.
Okay. I'm going to do one rebuttal from each of you. I got a lot of information there. So Justin, quick rebuttal from you, then we'll go back to Cicero. And then I'm going to think while you're rebutting, because there are two things that I really like a lot. And I would gladly play both of these, like play in both of these worlds. All right, Justin.
Well, for once, Cicero didn't pick something that I love. Unfortunately, I do not like Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
So he didn't pick that one out of my hat that he usually does. I feel like with the Matrix trailer or the demo that we got, we had a few different parts, right? We had a great action sequence of a car chase scene. Great visuals, like the light gun thing that we were talking about, brought back memories of going back to the arcades. I agree. And then we had an open world element, right? We had the ability to walk around, to look around with a drone at anything we want, reflections, walls, and just incorporate the scenery of what they're doing with this engine. You're able to experience how much this is able to do. And I feel like action sequences are great. Like you said, you'd have that that run with the explosions and you get inside the ship. That'd be great. But it's still like the visual aspect of being a police robot in one part and going through and doing missions, and then switching to District 9 and seeing the rendering of all of the beings on the ground and also the ship above, and being able to float around and look at all the garbage of this dump-like city and seeing it all look amazing would do better. And it would show the capability of the Unreal Engine 5. instead of just a straight action scene after action scene, you'd have that cooldown of, holy crap, this looks amazing. And this is the future of gaming, which is the chills that I got from playing The Matrix.
Okay.
So you're able to see how much this engine is capable of outside of the action and slow it down to a point that you're able to analyze and look at every little element in your own time frame.
All right, Cicero.
Well, you know, it's a shame, Justin, that you don't enjoy the Battlestar Galactica franchise, because if you did and you were familiar, you would realize that how much your explanation just helped my cause. And so, like, as you're sitting around and you're talking about those drone elements where you're actually just getting to see the environment, imagine being on the repair deck and the receiving deck of a Battlestar as these Vipers are coming in, the pilots are coming in, and the crew needs to go in and repair those ships to get them ready and move ammunition from one place to another to make sure that they're loaded for the next group of Vipers that are going out while you're stuck in combat. You talk about looking at the world and seeing and getting those chills moments, being inside of a base star with thousands and thousands of Cylons that are sitting around, and some of them look identical. They're all these different models that are around, but they're off doing their different jobs, performing their task. But then there's all of these cocoons that are sitting there where they're sitting in hibernation chambers, and you can go through this massive, massive, massive ship and drone through and see all of the different things that are happening, all of the different particle effects, the lighting effects that are happening. So like, using opportunities for ray tracing and different shadowing, like that stuff is going to be in abundance in a place that's as ethereal as a base star. And then you'll also be able to see all of the other environmental rendering on the Battlestar. And we haven't even talked about like being able to pause the battle that's happening in space and look around what that appears to be, how that looks with using the Unreal Engine. Like all of those elements are right there. And thank you very much for pointing them out.
Well, you get those elements also with the District 9 rendering, because
I don't disagree.
You see the police kicking people out of their house to
You're right.
And you see the drone going in through the window and seeing the kid run and hide, the small child hiding from them, and you see guns getting shot and people getting killed, and you see all that as well with the ray tracing and lighting effects with a giant ship overhead.
Okay.
100%, but it's
hard for Jelly. It's
you
gonna
get
be hard.
all of those and space battles with PSG.
And okay, so that's where I'm at right now. And so basically, like the amount of detailing, the shadowing, the lighting, and the stuff that you get on on an Earth setting, and we'll say that for District 9 and Chappie and stuff like that, because they take place on Earth, although Elysium doesn't. Elysium kind of has both. You get the ring and you get Earth. So you get space aspects as well. Is what, like,
it's too grounded for you?
It's not. So here's my things. Like, the Earth is beautiful. Like, there is so much beauty here, and in space there's a lot of nothing. But when you go down to like the ships, the detailing in ships and stuff like that, the lighting in ships, the fact that it would have to change as you move. So as you're walking down, all of the shadowing would have to move with you as you go to the next bank of lights that hits the next thing. And if there's dust in there, if there's like, I'm just thinking of there's so much to it. And like, I really have enjoyed, I really liked District 9, Elysium, and Chappie. I do like Battlestar Galactica. I think it's a great series. I have no idea. Flip. I think pausing a space battle would be absolutely epic. but in a real space battle, there's no fires in space because there's no oxygen. So there'd only be a fire as oxygen left the ship.
Yep.
But then you get all the debris. I don't freaking know. Shucks. I'm gonna go Justin.
Yes.
But only, I think I'm gonna give you the win. I'll give you the win. But on a technicality, you chose 3 different things, and it took 3 to beat the one that Cicero did. Yeah, and it was fair. It was fair, which is why it's a technicality, because Matrix had it all, right? You can take from 3. So you win because you won. But Cicero's one almost,
I would still love to play
beat
the experience of Battlestar Galactica just for visual.
It'd be unbelievable. It would be so good. I would love to play. I would love to play through both of these. It'd be so fun to be able to go through those worlds, and see it
hovering
change.
over District 9 would be insane.
Yeah,
to see all of the dense population, all of different things happening.
Heck yeah! You didn't even talk about the mothership.
No. Nope.
There's so much in in those 3.
Yeah.
Like there's so much there.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. That was a great argument. Gosh, I'm glad we have this show.
We picked out of Jelly's hat that time.
Yeah, you did. And it worked. Okay, what was the biggest surprise announcement from the Game Awards? Now, Justin, you won. So, Cicero, power is in your hands. Do with it as you wish.
You know what? I'm going to go first.
All right.
And I'm going to say that the biggest... So I'm not going to steal Justin's because we all know what Justin's is going to be.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, then
that's my favorite announcement, but I don't think it's the biggest.
The biggest,
or am I just throwing you off? I might be throwing you off.
Yeah, you might be. I don't know. So I'm gonna go with Star Wars Vaporware.
What Eclipse?
Yeah, Star Wars Eclipse was the biggest surprise for me at the Game Awards.
All right. And Justin?
The Texas... No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with Wonder Woman.
Really?
That was also another one. Okay, fair enough.
Really?
All right. That's another good battle.
Throw you a curveball, right?
So we've got Star Wars versus Wonder Woman. Cicero, going to you first, my buddy.
Both Disney properties.
Why was it the biggest? Yeah, right.
Not yet.
Disney WB.
Right.
Siblings are squabbling.
Why was it the biggest surprise, or what do you want? What do you want me to?
Yes. Why do you believe it was the biggest surprise announcement? And then Justin, we'll go to you. Why do you think yours was?
Because there was some. There's always kind of a murmur about some new Star Wars property coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But there were those conversations. But nobody was even close to Eclipse. Like, this was not something that anybody had their eye on. So, and I think genuinely no one expected a Star Wars game coming out. But also the other part of this was that was a Star Wars trailer and there were no lightsabers.
There was.
Oh yeah, at the end.
So
they were fighting on that one
bridge.
On the bridge. Yeah. I've watched it too many times. I know,
but barely any lightsabers. To be fair,
right.
Even Yoda should have been holding one.
He was not though. I would have loved a Mace Windu. To be fair. All right, Justin.
Why is Wonder Woman the biggest announcement?
Surprise announcement.
Surprise. As Star Wars, everyone knew KOTOR was getting remade. Yeah, sure. No one knew another IP was going to be coming out. That is for sure. Who thought a Wonder Woman game was going to make an appearance? Out of all of the superheroes, we got Suicide Squad, sure. We got Guardians that came out recently. We got Spider-Man that came out, and a new one on the way. no one thought Wonder Woman was going to come out with a game. And then you see who it's coming by. Monolith Studios. These are the people that made Middle-earth, which was an open-world third-person game.
Right.
And you're thinking, a third-person Wonder Woman open-world game? They're trying to take a Spider-Man aspect in this? And I think Monolith Studios is going to do a good job. And no one could have predicted, we've got Wolverine announced. And that was a very short trailer for Wonder Woman. Didn't give anything away. Just to zoom in on her outfit, and then you get Monolith. That's it. That's what you get. Brand new reveal, surprise. No one could have thought that was coming. No one thought DC was going to be coming out with WB games, was going to be coming out with something like that.
All right, Cicero.
And that's what we're looking for, honestly. We're looking for a game on the Xbox that's rivaling Spider-Man.
If I'm being honest, if I had to throw 5 darts at a dartboard, one of them, and for the WB, one of them would have been Wonder Woman, because there aren't any female hero games out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's Wonder Woman. She's got movies. She's pretty hot right now. You've done the Batman games. Can't really do a Superman game.
Hopefully.
And they've kicked around a Green Lantern game, but before you do a Green Lantern game, you've got to have a good Green Lantern movie. And right now you've got at least one good Wonder Woman film, and you've got a good character. So yeah, that game seems it's not a surprise to me that a Wonder Woman game is coming out. Or at least a game featuring Wonder Woman was being released. What is a surprise to me is a Star Wars title where it seems like your hero, or at least the character that you will be controlling, is not a force wielder and isn't human.
Mm-hmm.
So that's never been done before in Star Wars. So not only were you not aware that a non-KOTOR Star Wars game was on the horizon, but a non-KOTOR Star Wars game where you play potentially as a non-Jedi, non-human. What? That's a surprise.
All right.
More of a surprise than Wonder Woman.
Justin, final thoughts real quick.
I think that Star Wars has been known to reveal things at these events. And I feel like, Fallen Order did great. And then they announced KOTOR, and they were like, okay, we're making this. Next Star Wars game coming. And with Star Wars having show after show come out on Disney+, they know it's still a big hit. And people still love it. The main franchise might be over, but these other side shows and side stories are still coming. And there's more and more and more. And animated adventures and all kinds of canon events coming out. Star Wars is still very, very popular, and people can be like, oh, they're going to make something else. I think that after the newest Wonder Woman movie and it not doing as hot as the original, not at all. And I feel like I didn't see them coming out with a Wonder Woman game, especially a third-person open world one at that. Based on the studio's reputation. I think that it's much more surprisable that they're going to take off something that just did terrible and make something out of it.
They're not that flexible. They're not that agile, right? The Wonder Woman 84 was a dirt bath, but they're not going to stop developing a game because one of the many, one movie in a many movie franchise potentially, hopefully, with this character is proposed and is ready to go. That train has left the station. It's still moving, and a video game was inevitable.
True. Star Wars is still doing good. That's what I'm saying.
A game featuring Wonder Woman was inevitable. Whether or not it was, a Wonder Woman led vehicle, who knows? But that's less surprising to me, and to most people, I would believe, than a Star Wars title featuring you as a non-Jedi, non-human.
I don't know. You say it's inevitable for a female protagonist game to come out based on a character from DC. Yeah. It is inevitable for a Star Wars game to be announced.
Yes.
Way more.
You're right.
Way more.
You're right. But not one where you star as a non-Jedi, non-human.
All right.
Yeah, stories back and forth.
So
out in DC. It's, I don't know.
Here's what it comes down to for me. Biggest surprise announcement, right? So there's a little bit of a hearsay as to what these games are going to entail, because we got a very small look at Star Wars and a very small look at Wonder Woman. We have an idea of who,
it's all about the surprise.
We have an idea of what the game is, but not really what it is. I think the biggest surprise for me was Star Wars and not KOTOR, because I think, at least for me, when they did Star Wars, I was expecting KOTOR. I was expecting some sort of update, a in-game, a alpha footage, some sort of gameplay footage. I was not expecting a new IP that is going to be completely separate from that. When I saw WB and DC games, I thought Wonder Woman. So I think the bigger surprise for me was Star Wars, because I was expecting KOTOR, and they were like, no, it's Eclipse. And I'm like, what is this?
Well,
and when I saw
the trailer, I was thinking KOTOR, and then I was like, oh wait, this is not KOTOR.
Exactly. So I think
surprise.
I think that was the biggest surprise for me. Although I'm excited for Wonder Woman, that was my guess when they showed me WB and then DC games, because she's had her film, she's had the not so great film, and then it wasn't good. And then what will hopefully be a very good game. She's a great character, has an unbelievably deep depth to pull from. But I was more shocked that it was not KOTOR with Star Wars. And
they better get her invisible plane.
Invisible jet.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. All right. So yeah, Star Wars takes the cake because it wasn't KOTOR, and I think nobody was expecting that. Next, we've got Bungie is adding Halo-inspired weapons to Destiny. So what game's weapons would be a great add-in to another game? Cicero, you won the last one. Justin, power's in your hands. Ball is in your court. What would you like to do with it?
I'd like to decline the chance to go first, and I'm going to go age before beauty on this one for Cicero.
Okay.
All right. So Cicero, what game's weapons would be a great fit in a different game?
A great fit or an OP fit is really what I'm dealing with. But you know what? Actually, a great fit, right? So when we say a great fit, we've got to really break down what great means, right? So great fit means what weapons can go into a game and feel like they belong in that game.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so that's a great fit. It's not anachronistic. It seems like it's part of the world. And we're gonna talk about not Bungie, but we're gonna talk about Halo, and we're gonna say that the weapons of Doom would be a perfect fit for Halo.
Okay.
Are you talking about Infinite or?
Sure. I mean, since Infinite is just an evolved version of the weapons from the original games franchise, then I was leaning more towards the franchise in general. But if we have to nail a particular game, I can do so. I think Justin is going to use that to set up an argument, but that's okay. Let's go.
All right, Justin.
Love it.
Which game's weapons would be a great fit in a different game?
Cicero knows me very well. I'm actually also talking about Halo.
Oh.
But a different game, bringing weapons into Halo other than Doom. Because you only need this one weapon. You only need one to make this game a completely different experience. And I'm talking about the ASHPD. Now, Jelly might know what I'm talking about here. That's an acronym right there for the Aperture Science Handheld Portal Device.
Nice.
Okay, the portal gun.
The portal gun.
Okay.
Now, this gun, I don't know if you've ever played a certain multiplayer game that came out a little bit before Halo Infinite did.
Splitgate.
Which got seasons. No, not Splitgate. Splitgate? Yeah, Splitgate. You're playing as a multiplayer game with a portal gun as well as normal guns.
Okay.
And it worked very well. It changed the entire game. It made it unique and took a little bit of skill. More skill than Halo would normally take to win fights. A little bit more to learn. But imagine having a portal gun in Halo. The franchise or just Infinite, whichever one Cicero decided to pick.
Okay.
All right.
I like it. Give me one quick thing, Cicero, and then we'll go back to Justin, and I'll make a ruling.
All right. Well, so I'll go back and so that we can narrow the focus.
Okay.
We'll go to Halo Infinite, right?
All
We'll
right.
both be within the Halo Infinite universe.
Well, that's your choice. I don't have to abide by that, but sure.
Oh, all right. Well, listen,
No,
there's
I'm just
anarchy
playing.
out
I'm
here.
just playing. You
All right,
can-
it's
yeah.
anarchy. Let's go. So I will say that, again, I look at the question that was asked, and I made a proposition based on the question that was asked,
Correct.
which was what would be a good fit, and a good fit presents or presumes that the item in question can be added to the environment, added to this ecosystem, and it not feel anachronistic. It not feel like you have to learn something dramatically different in order to use and succeed with this new apparatus. And I would say, sir, that what I have proposed, bringing in weapons from Doom, would perform that task admirably, as opposed to adding something a brilliant weapon from a brilliant game that would, if added to Halo, would be very, very interesting. Because it proposes all new styles of gameplay, all new methods in ways with which you can succeed, and help to develop brand new stratagems that will fundamentally change the Halo multiplayer experience. But Justin, that is not what we were asked. That was not the task that we were given. You have taken that task and you've done, I don't know if it's extra credit. I don't know what it is, but I don't think you understood the assignment, sir. I did.
All right. Shelly, you said you're going to rule after I do this?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a ruling.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie though, I'm leaning pretty hard one way, Justin. It's an uphill
That's
battle.
okay.
Tell me something
Because
good.
it's kind of a double-edged sword over here, Cicero, because you asked a question at the beginning of this argument. You said, do you want the OP one or the great one? And with the double-edged sword with Doom, you said all the weapons. That includes the BFG. And we've spoke about that BFG a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's a little OP, isn't it?
Just like a hammer.
Any bad
Just like
guy
the
you
sword.
want, any monster, any player that you want, gone. One shot. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little broken, right?
Well, there are weapons already in Halo
There are.
that are more powerful than others.
Why take a lot of the guns from Doom, which are real weapons, shotguns, a chainsaw, you've got guns that are funny looking, Gatling guns, BFG, you've got a lot of pulse rifles and weapons with energy, and implicate them in a game that already has those things. It already has a lot of those weapons. Now, it doesn't have a BFG. It has one hit kill weapons, but you do need skill to use them. The BFG, you do not need skill to use. You just aim in the general area, and it'll kill whatever's there. Now, that's fun for some, but you should have a slim chance to, try and evade that. You can't with the BFG. The BFG is going to kill you. If they pick it up, insta-death. You don't have a chance. With the portal gun, yeah, it might be a unique extra credit way to make a difference in the game. But campaign-wise, think of the different things you can do with that. Taking down bases, going in ships and sneaking behind and meleeing a grunt just for fun. Taking a warthog through a portal onto the other side of the map in multiplayer. Instant capture of the flag. You got trick shots you can do galore with the portal gun. And Splitgate has shown that. The amount of trick shots that are available at your disposal. I think it would be a interesting, unique way, but it would also fit in the Halo universe. A portal is not that hard to think is in the Portal universe already. It is the future.
It was a good good comeback. It wasn't good enough, Justin. I'm sorry. It would change the game too much. I think you're arguing something that would change the game and take it to a new level, a different game, which could be fun in its own right, but I don't think it would be a great fit in what we know as Halo. Splitgate, on the other hand, it exists. It's in its own game, and they gave it a different game, I think, for a reason. Even though having the BFG and Halo could be OP, there's things like the Spanker, which is disgustingly OP already, and you don't really have to hit the target. You just get it in the general vicinity. It's a rocket launcher, for those who don't know. If you get it anywhere near someone, they die, and it's frustrating as all heck. But hey, it's basically the BFG, but just with a different name. However, I think that the Doom guns would be a great addition to Halo. I think the Portal guns would be an awesome addition, but it would change the game too much. And yes, making it unbelievably overpowered, especially as you mentioned, and capture the flag. That would just be disgusting. I would never play CTF ever if there was a portal gun in there. There's just no shot. All right, so Cicero, Doom guns added to Halo is the win. It's time for the blind quick attack. This time, Sean, wonderful guest and often appearance on here, Sean Rugg. He proposed the question for the blind quick attack, and it is, are you ready? Because it's right. I had to ask a question afterwards. It was so simple.
Okay.
Why is Outer Wilds the GOAT? So that's it. That's all you get. Why is Outer Wilds the GOAT?
Okay.
You will have 1 minute, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. 1 minute opener, 30-second rebuttal, 30-second closing. Cicero, you won. So power goes to Justin. Justin, your choice as to go first or second here. And remember, this is a timed thing. So you get 2 minutes to give your best argument here. And a little bird told me that neither one of you has played this game. So I'm very excited to hear the arguments provided about a game that you're not all that familiar with. So when
Cicero, have you played those?
So I'll say that I can't play this game because it's one of the few games that makes me motion sick.
All right. And Justin, have you played
I have
it?
I have not stepped foot in this game at all. Or nor do I know what it's about. So, Cicero, you may go first.
Okay.
Perfect. This is going to be a fun game.
All right.
And I get a minute to read this as quickly as possible.
90 seconds to look through
You get
the history of Outer Wilds.
okay. So, when you start talking, I will begin the timer. Why is Outer Wilds the greatest of all time?
When you start talking.
Well, I'm starting to talk right now. And so what happens is when a game can do more than one thing, and you think the game is one thing, but then it turns out to be many different things, you realize that the developers of said game understood they understood the assignment, and that was to make something different. That's what makes the Outer Wilds great, because you start out like you're on this planet, you're not exactly sure what's going on, but then there's a campfire, but then there's a spaceship, and you got to get out of there. Like, there's all sorts of crazy things that are happening in this game, and that's what makes it great, because it's like Minecraft and Telltale and a first-person shooter all wrapped up into one, and it keeps going. And the narrative is phenomenal.
All right. What a great explanation. I love it. It was so good. I wasn't definitely not off camera laughing my butt off.
You just wait.
So, Justin, when you start talking, your time will begin. Why is Outer Wilds the greatest of all time?
So as Cicero said, this is a very unique game. It's got a lot of different elements. Makes you believe that one thing is another thing. That's true. But it also feels very grounded. You got this loop that's going on, and you've got to connect some statues, man. And the story and narrative is just so amazing in this game. I can't even remember how good it is because it just blew me away so much that it's a single player game, but it's action adventure. You got lots of things happening going on all at the same time. And it's been nominated many, many times, won few of those awards, but still a great game for anyone who's played it. I highly recommend going to download this. You've got it on multiple different platforms, almost all of them. And the unique story and elements of being stuck in a kind of loop of a star going out and supernovas going on, and geez, you feel grounded, but it's got a lot going on. So it really intrigues you and keeps you in.
Okay. I feel so informed. Like I know exactly what this game's about. I'm excited. Cicero, just your turn for a rebuttal. Tell me why Justin is wrong, essentially. And I need to just I need to put 30 seconds on this timer. And then
just read the wiki.
And when you start talking, I will start timing.
Okay, well then I'm going to start talking right now. How about that? So, hey, listen, here's what Justin got wrong, is that he didn't talk about the fact that one of the reasons that this game is the GOAT is because it won the Seamus McNally Award, right? Like if you can win an award named after someone named Seamus, then I mean you've got to be the dopest thing that has ever been created. Period. Point blank. The end of story.
Okay. Yep. Award after Seamus. Justin, you're up. Tell me why you think Cicero is wrong.
All right. So maybe you could win an award that matters a lot, but if the game isn't made by someone who plays with these things, these 4-letter words, Legos, then the game's not going to be good. You got to have someone that has a creative brain, and the maker of this game played with Legos as a kid. Right. So anything he creates is going to be unique to his mindset, and it's going to be one of a kind. So awards may matter if the game is good, but if you don't have that creativeness, the game's going to be terrible.
Okay, and you guessed it. It's time for closing. Cicero, right. Let's hear that closing argument. Tell me more.
Greatest of all time. That is what it is. That is what we have. You're inside and tame, but the outer is wilds. And that is why this is the game of the year. Because, again, it makes you think it's one thing, and then it turns out to be another thing. There's a supernova, then there's a time loop, you die, but then you come back, then you live, you start a fire, you escape, you go on to Earth. It is the greatest.
All right.
You should play it.
Yep. Okay, Justin, back to you, buddy. Tell me what he didn't. Ready when you are.
You can be good in the States, but nothing's as good as being good in Britain. And in 2020, the 16th British Academy Awards, they won 3 different awards: Best Game, Game Design, and Original Property. Not so much music and narrative, but it's good in those 3 categories. And if you're good with the Britons, then you're good in the States. Uniqueness, and also a cup of tea.
Okay. Justin loses by default because he said if you're good in Britain, you're good in the States.
The States.
So Cicero, good argument. I feel so informed. I absolutely know what's going on. Obviously, Outer Wilds is the GOAT. I'm excited to have Sean on here. Sean, that was your question. I hope you enjoyed that answer. I'm sure you got a kick out of it, just as I did. Cicero, is that a win for you tonight? I am at a loss.
I think it is. By
default, yeah.
I think you know who won? You, the listener.
Yeah, you guys won.
Have won. Yes.
Hopefully you guys laughed at our terrible description of a game we've never played.
No, that was an accurate description
on
of
your
a game
end.
we've never played.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember playing this at E3 and then having to go sit down in the bathroom for a little while and put some water on my face.
Sorry.
All right.
Certain games. The Witness, I can't play that either.
The Witness.
Yeah, The Witness. And Firewatch.
You can't. Oh, it's the color. It's that.
It's
like Borderlands. You okay?
Borderlands is fine, right?
Okay.
Borderlands is fine. It's something about that animation style, but also first person with not seeing like a gun or something, not having something.
Oh yeah, you get
in
all
front of
of
me.
that,
I don't know what it
that
is.
motion. It's
Yeah,
the sway.
yeah.
I hear you.
All right.
Yeah,
gentlemen, it's leaderboard time. We made it.
Uh-oh.
And this
We did
this
it.
week's leaderboard is top 5 you won't ever play again.
Ooh, wow.
So that's who added Will Smith to my thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
He's got a vote.
Justin, give me your 3. Which what three games you're never picking up again?
Inside Baseball. We keep track, and Will Smith is on the list of keeping track for. So,
All right.
my 3 games. I'm gonna go with the most recent first, which is gonna be something that came to Game Pass recently, and I had to pick it up because I was like, I'm gonna try it, give it a shot, and I uninstalled it within 5 minutes. It's gonna be the game Skatebird.
Skatebird.
Skatebird. It's supposed to be a Tony Hawk. You're a bird on a skateboard doing tricks.
Yikes. Okay.
You get motion sickness. You'd get it from this. It was bad, real bad.
Skatebird.
I think I went off one jump and then crashed, and I was like, no.
It sounds great. What is your number 2?
I'm gonna copy and paste this one because it's a lot to spell out for listeners. But this is gonna be the game that came out a while back on PC called Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
Okay.
This was a game where you played a guy in a bucket, pretty much, a pot, with a sledgehammer. And you literally had to move your mouse around the center, and you had to scale things with your sledgehammer as the end of your mouse. And you would climb over things and keep moving up, and there'd be a guy narrating, which is Bennett Foddy. He would say funny things, but you'd keep falling, which would take you back to the start if you messed up. And your constant flow would be, there's people that speedrun it. You'd go up and up into the sky, into the stars from planet to planet with no gravity. But if you were to fall before reaching that point, right back to the start. And then he would comment on, "Oh, you fell again," and make fun of you.
All right.
Not fun.
Getting
Not fun.
over it with Bennett Foddy. And your number 3.
This is a nightmare-inducing game. Never look this up, Jelly. This is called Slendy Tubbies.
What?
Yeah, you might look up Slender Man. Imagine Slender Man, which is this tall, suited guy chasing a kid around through a forest and a school and different things.
Uh-huh.
But instead of a big Slendy Man, it's a Teletubby with an evil face and blood all over them.
Nice.
Yikes.
Tinky
Yeah,
Winky,
terrifying. Don't
the
look it up.
sociopath.
Don't look it up.
I'm not going.
They
I
actually made
won't.
3 iterations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Cicero, coming to you. What is? I'm
Yeah.
trying to get away from that Slendy Tubbies as fast as possible.
Okay.
What are your 3?
All right. So the first is a game that I was very, very excited about and bought and played and completed, and I will never play it again.
Okay.
And that was a game called Beyond Eyes.
Beyond the
It was Beyond Eyes. It was a game that was about a little girl in France who was blind, and she had to walk around the world discovering the world as a blind person. So, one thing she would hear like a bubbling brook, but it was actually the sewer. And she wouldn't be able to differentiate between the two until she got closer or something like that. And there was, it was this whole thing. And it was a walking simulator game. Now there's nothing wrong with walking simulator games.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But this game was a bad walking simulator game, and it was trying to do something, but it didn't execute it well. And the thing that it did execute was like, oh, this is like, why did I have to play this for 4.5 hours to get through this stupid story? I never played it again. I really wanted to like that game. I so did not like it.
It looks good.
Beyond Eyes.
All right.
Ugh.
Your number 2.
Yeah. Yes. My number 2 game was a game that I downloaded from Game Pass that I had heard about and I was really excited about. And then I played about an hour's worth of the game, but like 37 minutes of that hour was cutscenes. And that game was Jump Force. Screw that game, because that game sucks. Jump Force is like an action fighting game that had like all of your favorite. It's like Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
But for fighting, like for anime.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So it had like all of the Naruto and the Dragon Ball people and, and all of your Toonami and Crunchyroll favorite characters are in this game doing their things. You go to the different worlds, but screw that game, because all it was cutscenes. And then you got, to fight and, loading.
You're watching a movie,
cutscenes. Right. Yeah. No, not even. All you're doing is pressing A. It's the press A simulator to advance the next bit of dialogue. Because it's not even, they're not cutscenes. They're just dialogue scenes where people are talking and then you just keep it advancing it. So that sucked. So yeah, I installed it. I played it for an hour. Or
15 minutes of
I watched
gameplay.
it for 45 minutes. Yeah. And then played it for 15 minutes and was in the hub world and was like, oh, like I gotta actually like get better at this in order for it to get even marginally better than what it is right now.
Spend
No,
time with
thank
this?
you. Yeah, no, thank you.
All right.
So, so I hit the kibosh on that, hit the X's. That was uninstalled. So Beyond Eyes, Jump Force.
And the 3rd.
My final game, we're going to go back a couple of video game generations.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about a peripheral that was a peripheral at the time, but it was something that was being promoted as the future of gaming.
It's been a lot of stuff.
That peripheral happened to be the Kinect.
Okay.
And the game that we're talking about that was on the Kinect is not Kinectimals. No. You have your little tigers that jump up on your screen. That's fine. You can play that, play it again, bring your nephews over, do the thing.
Fun for kids.
Yeah. The game that we're talking about is from a franchise that we've talked about several times today on this show.
Oh, no.
And that is Kinect Star Wars.
Mm.
That game was all sorts of bad. All sorts of bad.
What about the dancing?
Yeah. So like the highlight of that game was their Dance Central like dancing in like different Star Wars like locales where you were dancing poorly parodied cover songs
All about Star Wars.
that were based on Star Wars characters, and you were dancing to those songs. They were bad. The recognition was bad. I had a party and we played that game at that party,
and then everyone
left.
You know, when that was announced and I saw the lightsaber, I was like, oh, the future of gaming is coming. You're going to hold the lightsaber, and then when you play it, and you're just like...
Yeah. Played it once, I will never play it again.
All right. My number one is Flappy Bird.
Really?
Oh, you only played it once?
Really?
I played it. I might have downloaded it or played it on someone else's phone. And it just was Helicopter. I don't know if you guys ever played Helicopter, but it was the same game.
I played Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
I had a high score on that game. I played it a lot.
They removed it from the App Store for a reason, because you waste your life on things like that. Don't play it. Don't play Helicopter. Don't play any of the other ones like it. It is the biggest time suck. Do something productive. I played a lot of Helicopter. So you were just a helicopter, going up and down, just like in Flappy Bird, you were a bird, only avoiding obstacles. Yuck. I don't like it. For my second, can I just put all mobile games? I don't play games on my mobile. I don't enjoy them. I don't like playing games on phones. I like playing games on screens, big screens with controller.
So have you done it more than once?
Mobile games, yeah. I used to try and play games. I had Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, or San Andreas, whichever one they released for the phone. I had Asphalt. I had several like poker games. I've had slots games and all sorts of stuff, and I always delete them. I always get rid of them, and I always regret putting them on my phone in the first place. So for me, I could put mobile games, but then it wouldn't be fair, because that's just too many. I got to think of specific games.
The worst of a mobile game.
The Flappy Bird is the worst. You will ruin your life. And it will be the biggest waste of time. You could have done so much, because you know what happens is you'll play and you'll be like, I'll play this for 2 or 3 minutes, and then an hour goes by because you die, and then it just restarts. It doesn't even give you an option. It just automatically restarts, and you're doing it again, and you're like, oh man, this is amazing. And then you look at your watch, and you're like, oh my, I've been in the bathroom for an hour and a half now. I didn't even realize what was going on.
You go to stand up and you just collapse.
You fall right down.
Yeah, they really worked on that, because you had the ad bar at the bottom, so you never got an ad, but because it's scrolling the whole time.
Yeah. The guy did amazing. The creator,
he shut it down and deleted it.
Yeah, the creator actually had to ask for it to be removed, because he realized how bad it was in the end. And there's iPhones with it installed still on it, selling for $5,000 to $50,000. Are you saying?
I'll never delete that thing.
Oh my god!
Never delete it. Yeah, I enjoy that game.
Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Let's see what other.
It's the simple things in life.
There are simple things in life. Let's see. Another game that I probably will never play again is Tony Hawk's. Any of the newer Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters.
Wow, Mike. somewhere
you
Mike
like
just
the
shuddered.
remake, right?
The remake is fine
2
because
plus
it's
1.
just the original, but the ones that they continued making afterwards, so they made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, I think was the last one I tried. And
Did you do the ride one with the actual skateboard peripheral?
Yeah, it's built with technology. It's built with
it's the
technology.
future.
heard about it, never had the opportunity to play it, but I won't.
Oh.
So I'm just
You
going
have
to
to
put
stand on a skateboard.
Tony Hawk's
Yeah.
Pro Skater 5 on here. But after
All right.
playing Skate, like I wouldn't go back to one of those. I probably wouldn't even play the remakes, to be fair.
Wow.
I would go back to the originals, like on the original consoles.
I played a lot of them. Like I played a lot of those. Another one that I went to and played. Sims.
Really?
Really?
I can't stand those style of games anymore. I used to play it, way back in the day.
I used to,
and like think it was fun, and now I can't. Anything that takes time like that from me, obviously Flappy Bird and stuff like that, like they're and real time strategy, like those style games, Sims games, like Roller Coaster Tycoon, those style games, I just can't do anymore. Like it requires you to always have like 1 foot in it, always checking on it. It's why I gave up on Clash of Clans. Clash of Clans was another one. Like you always have to be doing something. And it's like,
yes.
so anything like that. Sims was like that. Any style game like that, I'm out. Just 100%. I'm done. I'll never pick them up again. But for the list, yeah, I'm gonna throw Sims on there because I don't know. No enjoyment. No enjoyment for me. All right. We got 9. We need 5. So Justin, which one are you keeping?
Slendy Tubbies.
Monster.
It's the number 1 on that list of mine.
All right.
For sure. Never going back to play that scary thing.
Cicero.
And I'm a horror movie fan, so you know how bad it is.
Connect Star Wars.
Thankfully, it's going to be hard to find it. And then play it even if you do.
Yeah, that's true.
That
is true.
For me, the worst. Oh, sorry, Mike.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh, how dare you? How dare you? All right, Tony Hawk is going on there. Just can't anymore. All right, so we need 2 more. Unanimous decision.
I don't know. Are you guys big anime fans?
I never got a chance to play Jump Force.
Anime's fine.
I'm not going
okay.
to now, though, Tier.
Right. So to me, Jump Force is better than Beyond Eyes because I think that Jump Force needs to be experienced by people that are familiar with the genre, like the source material, so that they can see how bad it is, right? Like there is some perverse pleasure that you get in experiencing how bad it is, at least in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Beyond Eyes, like you keep waiting for it to be good.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it's like 4 or 5 hours in and you realize like it doesn't get
It's
good
never
and it's
gonna be
just
there.
over. Right. Like Jump Force, it kind of tells you what it is when you start.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep waiting for it to say like, oh, just kidding. We're actually going to be good. And it like, no, then eventually like, oh, no. They're not kidding. It's going to be this. Jump Force is pretty bad. I think I would rather have Jump Force on my list than Beyond Eyes.
Really? Okay. I was thinking.
Yes.
I'm willing to give Beyond Eyes a chance because I love simulators regardless, and I like the art style that the game has. I saw the pictures of Beyond Eyes.
Yes.
I'd be willing to
it's
give it a
like-
shot, but
It
also
is,
worried.
so the art style is like watercolors.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
And it's really cool in that respect.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. What was that? It was
Yeah, France.
it was really cool in that respect. So sure, But yeah, like be prepared for that game not to be good.
All right, what's filling in number
yeah.
5?
I would definitely fight for Getting Over It.
Okay.
Any game that you play and struggle to get to learn, and then you finally get a small, slim chance of learning it, and you understand how to move around, and you get so far just to fall back to where you start and have to do it all over again, makes kind of a terrible experience, especially when there's a narrator making fun of you the whole time.
What if it's a bird that's flapping?
No, I like that game, and I also like The Sims. Before I had a copy of AutoCAD, that's what I used for building design. I would just go in build mode and design buildings.
That's hilarious.
Stay out of play mode completely.
All right. I'm cool getting behind either of the other choices, because there's not a lot of games I play anyways. So, Cicero, if you're cool with Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy.
I am cool. I have gotten over Getting Over It.
And then we're all going to go play Slendy Tubbies after this.
There we
We
go.
have our list. The top 5 games that we won't ever play again. Slendy Tubbies, never would have played in the first place. Connect, Star Wars, wow, what a trash shoot. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, anything beyond the originals is trash. Jump Force, because anime is great, and why wouldn't you make a good game? And Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, because when you go up, you must come down. And when someone's being mean to you while you do it, it's annoying. Is that a good...
An honorable mention, Ocarina of Time.
And no, I will play that forever. Forever. All right. If you're still here with us hanging out, this has been our latest episode of Test Your Might, which is the weekly video game debate show. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure did. Thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. If this is your first time and you stay throughout the whole thing, you are amazing. Just saying it right now. There it is.
You're breathtaking.
Stunning.
And from us here at the 90s First, we'll catch you on the next one. See you later, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.